I burn for you. Typically, that's not a good thing. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to that channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you'll be the first to know about it. So, the show that has exploded and blown up on Netflix and kind of taken 2021 over by storm is this show called Bridgerton, a new ShondaLand show. So, this is the first series from ShondaLand Media after the massive backing a Brinks truck up to her home deal with Netflix. And so, what do we get? First series is an alternative history period drama, romantic drama, if you will. So Bridgerton is what you get when you mix a period drama like Pride and Prejudice with a will they, won't they romantic show that is the archetype of most of the ShondaLand series, like Grey's, Private Practice, all of that stuff. With the sprinkling in, with the sprinkling in of Cinemax sex scenes. I feel like this was definitely a show where they did all the romantic scenes. Like, cool. Normally, we take these to hall closets or we cut away and we don't really show these, or we just show them waking up. Shonda and that whole team over there was just like, yo, we're on Netflix now. There is no ratings. Do whatever the hell you want. You want them butt naked on the middle of the stairway? Get it in. And that's what we get here. So what makes shows like these work, with all the love monologues and the longing looks of from the distance and the unrequited love, is your two leads. If you don't have two leads that are compatible, have chemistry, and can make the audience give a shit about what's happening with the will they, won't they relationship that happens with these type of shows, it all fails. This, they nail it. I think they knock it out of the park. The actors who play Simon Bassett and Daphne Bridgerton are fantastic. The chemistry that they have together, they do a damn admirable job of being the impetus that carry the show on their back. Without them, without what they do, with how they work together, all of this fails. The work that Phoebe does as Daphne is intoxicating. She is strong, she is naive, she is strong-willed, she's gorgeous, and she has just this charisma that just exudes anytime she's on screen. She commands the show, and it is hers. And she every moment she's on screen is just a joy to watch. On the flip side of that, Simon is played fantastically as well. There's a monologue speech that is going to be used as the love monologue that Shonda's shows do typically have these monologues of love. Choose me, pick me, those type of things that you always remember. There's one in this that is going to be the check it off love note for most people who say, hey, I want somebody to love me the way that he loves Daphne. And you'll know it when you see it. I'm not going to call it out, but it's a gorgeous one. Hell, he got me to love him, and that's it. The Duke is played with a torment of a rule, a self-imposed rule that could feel silly if played by anyone else or done in a more ham-fisted way, but you feel the torment that he's going through between what he has chosen to do and what his heart, what his everything in him is leaning him towards. It's a fun juxtaposition. So the rest of the cast is just as stellar. There are three that really stand out to me. The instantly meme-ready Queen Charlotte, I would say the baby sister of the Featherington clan and Penelope, and her cousin, Marina Thompson, are the ones that, when it's all said and done outside of our two leads, those are the three that I love seeing on screen and I have a lot of fun with when they're there. Not everything is perfect for the show. I think the show as a whole follows a lot of the tropes and pitfalls of most of the ShondaLand series, which is good or bad. There's ups and downs to it. I just think it becomes, for me as a person who's watched everything, there's a pattern to it and it becomes a bit predictable in parts. I think the final episode, oddly, was a bit of a letdown for me. It was probably the episode that I liked the least. And that's probably because most of the episodes in a binge watching type of fashion, where we're going to leave on this thing where you can like, oh, when that next episode pops, let's just keep this bad boy going, whereas the last episode doesn't really allow for that. But my bigger issues with the final episode is that I saw some things telegraphed a mile away. So while it was supposed to be a big reveal, it wasn't that big of a shocker. And I think for you to be the quote unquote season finale, the shocker needs to be a little bit bigger. I also did not particularly like the cutaway that our two leads. I'm not going to spoil anything for people, but I don't like the cutaway that the two leads sort of have their story progressed without us actually seeing that play out, and it seems a little too easy for all the hardship that we went through in the season for the payoff and the coda to be done in a monologue form, or I mean, to be done in a montage form. That seems so quick and easy. The two just don't balance out for me. I would have rather have just end where we get a major reveal and then we don't come and we save some of that for the top of the second season. But that's me. This is definitely going to get a second season because everybody watched. Netflix was like, yo, we ain't never had an opening like this. This is wild. So we're definitely going to get a second season. They may not have known that when shooting, so that might be why they kind of try to put some things in place and say we're going to end this or try in this storyline. But I think there was more meat on the bone at the end to pick at to where the coda resolves. But the shortcomings I have can be put on pause for the amazing way that this show chooses to be ethnically diverse. For a period piece, it's a choice that has clearly upset some special people. As a man with a theater background, colorblind casting is not a new thing to me. I've seen it before and I think it's a fantastic thing and it should be done. And I love that the ethnic makeup of the characters in the show have very little to do with who they are or how others perceive them to be. I think the response the Featherington women give to Marina when they first see her and are just in astonishment by how gorgeous she is, that's when I knew as though this is a show for me. Like I knew as though they got me. Like if that's how people are responding to people who don't look like them, I'm in. I do know that there's been a bit of a pushback from some of Black Twitter in response to two things. One, all of the people of color being on the fairer skin of that. Although I would say that Simon's dad and his best friend are darker African American males, but none of the leads are. But I know also there are some people who have an issue with the interracial couple being the lead. Those same people screamed at the rooftops by some of the stuff that was scandal. I don't have a problem with it. I am myself in an interracial couple, so it didn't even dawn on me until I started seeing like, oh, that's a thing, really? Okay, cool. I don't know what else you want. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that it's a black man and a white woman, but there's also in this story. There is a black woman who is also with a white male, although that can be a bit troubling for some because there's no father around for her. She's pregnant for the majority of the show. I have a lot of stand on and in agreement with my fellow black folks over at Black Twitter, but I think this one is a fight that's not quite worth fighting or not enough there to fight against. Same way with the folks that are fighting about Soul. I was like, there's some times where we're just fighting just for the sake of fighting. I do think that if we do a season 2, it would be nice to see a variant of shades of African Americans on the show. But I also think we should just see, I mean, truthfully, just other ethnicities. We don't have, let's put some Asian folks in there. Let's put some Hispanic folks on there. If we're going to do ethnically diverse, I don't think the ethnic diversity should just be to whites and blacks, personally. And I'm also curious to know that while I think Daphne, she's fantastic, and sometimes you just go with the best actress, I wonder if that argument would be the same if it were Simon being a black male and the Bridgertons being of another minority ethnicity. Would that same argument happen, or if it's just because it's black to white? Curious. None of that affected me, and while I was watching, I didn't even think about it, but that's because I am in the mindset, or I am of the life of where love who you love, and I am in a couple that looks like what they look like on TV, so it sort of missed me. All in all, I feel that this show is a welcome distraction to whatever the world is giving us right now, and is a really feel-good show that is, for me, in the upper tier of a lot of the ShondaLand shows up there with the Greys and the scandals and How to Get Away with Murder stuff. I look forward to revisiting this world again. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I truly what I love the most is that I love that the freedom for Shonda and her team to do exactly what it is she wanted to do. So in addition to looking forward to revisiting this world again, I look forward to seeing whatever it is that she chooses to come up with for her next Netflix endeavor. But that's it for me. What did you guys think of Bridgerton? Have you finished it? What did you guys think? Are you excited for season 2? What do you want to see in season 2? And how do you feel? Because I know there's people on all sides of the spectrum with the diversity or lack thereof or too much of in regards to this show. Where do you guys stand on that? Go ahead and leave your comments in the comments below. If you haven't, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can email us at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name that is on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. We haven't had an episode for that show in a while, but we have an entire back catalog. It's just movies aren't coming out at the same clip that they used to. We also have a sister podcast called You Can't Do That Anymore, where we talk about classic films like American Beauty or Back to the Future or Gone with the Wind and discuss what those films did back when they were released versus looking at them through the eyes of 2021 and deciding if some of those things they can't quite do anymore. You can find those wherever podcasts are played as well. Like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.